Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is 20 February 2025. In this video, I'm going to generate different supply demand zone reports useful to the premium subscribers. Even before that, please understand we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. Some of you might be knowing the cost of the training is over 8,000 US dollars. It is a highly expensive training course. But we are providing complete free training, and all the training lessons are available at our NeoStock YouTube channel. At our channel homepage, click the tab Posts. Some of you might be seeing the tab Community in place of Posts. So click on the Community tab. You get access to this post. This post is having a YouTube playlist link that will take you to all the training lessons. You just click on the link. Now we are into supply demand zone price action course. I kept all the training lessons in this YouTube playlist, and here go to the bottom of the page. Starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one according to the training instructions I mentioned at our Telegram channel. I provided the link to our Telegram channel in this video description. So join at our Telegram channel. At the top of the window in the Telegram channel, you can find pinned messages. Click on the pinned messages. There you can find training instructions. So if you learn this course according to my training instructions, definitely you will become a very good independent trader in the coming months. Now, let's get into the report generation with the help of NeoStock Software Supply Demand Zone Top-Down Analysis Strategy Builder. So I'm going to generate different supply demand zone reports. Let me start with finding the stocks near demand and supply zones. We will also identify price closed inside the demand and supply zones for all the higher time frames. So starting with the yearly time frame, price closed inside the yearly demand zone, we got 5 stocks. I am giving you very few seconds time to watch the report. I request you pause the video, study the report, and then you can proceed to the next reports. In case if you does not understand the structure of this report, I request you complete the training lesson 21.1. That is part 1 of lesson 21. In that video, I have explained each and every column, their values, abbreviations in detail. Okay, next report, yearly time frame. Price closed inside the yearly supply zone. We don't have any stocks. Next time frame is half yearly. Stocks near half yearly demand zone. We got 2 stocks. Next, half yearly time frame, stocks near half yearly supply zone, no stocks are available. Next, half yearly time frame, price closed inside the half yearly demand zone, 7 stocks are filtered. Next, half yearly time frame, price closed inside the half yearly supply zone, we got 2 stocks. Next, time frame is quarterly, stocks near quarterly demand zone, we got 7 stocks. Next, quarterly time frame, stocks near quarterly supply zone, we got 3 stocks. Next, quarterly time frame, price closed inside the quarterly demand zone, we got 41 stocks. First 22 stocks are in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 41 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list by setting the EMA Confluence and the quarterly demand zones. So in the EMA Confluence at a quarterly time frame, I am setting the filter quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA Confluence. And also trend on the quarterly time frame should not be sideways when we set EMA Confluence. So it can be up or down. So with these filters, now the list is come down to 22 stocks. All these 22 quarterly demand zones are having quarterly EMA Confluence. Okay, next quarterly time frame. Price closed inside the quarterly supply zone. We got 3 stocks. Out of these 3, how many quarterly supply zones are having EMA Confluence? Let's verify. In the EMA Confluence quarterly, I am setting the filter quarterly supply zone having quarterly EMA Confluence. And these 2 quarterly supply zones are having quarterly EMA Confluence. Okay, the next time frame is a monthly. Stocks near monthly demand zone, we got 4 stocks. Next, for monthly time frame, stocks near monthly supply zone, we got 3 stocks. Next, monthly time frame, price closed inside the monthly demand zone, we got 57 stocks. Out of these 57, first 20 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 57 stocks are filtered where price closed inside monthly demand zone. We can further reduce this list by setting the EMA Confluence filter. How many monthly demand zones are having monthly EMA Confluence? Let us filter based on that. EMA Confluence at monthly time frame, I am setting the filter monthly demand zone having monthly EMA Confluence, and the trend on the monthly time frame should not be sideways. So it can be up or down with these filters. Now the list is come down to 23 stocks. So first 21 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 23 stocks. Okay, next monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly supply zone. We got 8 stocks. Out of these 8 monthly supply zones, how many monthly supply zones are having monthly EMA Confluence? Let us verify. So EMA Confluence at monthly time frame, I am setting the filter monthly supply zone having monthly EMA Confluence, and trend on the monthly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. With these filters, we got 3 stocks. So these 3 monthly supply zones are having monthly EMA Confluence. And third one, monthly supply zone, is a pierced supply zone. You can apply pierced zone strategy on this particular stock. That way they will be helpful to you. The concepts you learned in lesson 28. Okay, next time frame is weekly. Stocks near weekly demand zone. We got 11 stocks. Next weekly time frame, stocks near weekly supply zone. We got 18 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 18 stocks are filtered. Next, weekly time frame, price closed inside the weekly demand zone. We got 69 stocks. Let me scroll the list down quickly for the reference purpose. Later we will further filter with EMA Confluence. I'm scrolling the list down. Total 69 stocks. We can further filter this list based on weekly demand zone having weekly EMA Confluence. Let me set that filter in the weekly time frame. Weekly demand zone having weekly EMA Confluence, and trend on the weekly should not be sideways. So it can be up or down. With these filters, we got 12 stocks out of 68. These 12 stocks, weekly demand zones, are having weekly EMA Confluence, and also current price closed inside those weekly demand zones. Okay, next, weekly time frame, price closed inside the weekly supply zone. We got 27 stocks. First 16 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 27 stocks are filtered. Out of these 27, how many are having EMA Confluence? Let us verify. Weekly supply zone having weekly EMA Confluence. So I'm setting that filter. Weekly supply zone having weekly EMA Confluence, and trend on the weekly, it should not be sideways, it can be up or down. With these filters, 9 stocks are filtered from 22. 22 or 27? 27. So these 9 weekly supply zones are having weekly EMA Confluence. So this is about weekly time frame. And the next time frame is daily. Entry time frame daily. Let us find the stocks near daily demand zone. We got 11 stocks. Let us identify the high liquidity daily demand zones from this list. Coal India is having a high liquidity zone. Tata Communication is having a high liquidity demand zone. That's it. We have only 2 high liquidity zones. Tata Communication is 2003 stocks. It may not be useful for fine tuning 5-minute zone. Coal India is also 2024, almost 1 year back. So not sure 5 minutes data is available for this one also. Okay, anyway, next, for daily time frame, let us find the stocks where stock price is near to the daily supply zone. We got 13 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity daily supply zones from this list. AU Bank is having a high liquidity zone. KEI is having a high liquidity zone. Manapuram is having a high liquidity supply zone. Polycab is having a high liquidity supply zone. That's it. We have identified 4 high liquidity daily supply zones from this list. Okay, next, for daily time frame, price closed inside the daily demand zone, we got 39 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 39 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list by setting a daily demand zone having daily EMA Confluence. So in the EMA Confluence, at a daily time frame, I'm setting the filter daily demand zone having daily EMA Confluence or not. And at the same time, trend on the daily time frame should not be sideways. It can be up or down. So with these filters, we got 8 stocks. So these 8 daily demand zones are having daily EMA confluence. And also current price closed inside the daily demand zone. Okay, next, daily time frame. Price closed inside the daily supply zone. We got 43 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 43 stocks are filtered. Out of these 43, how many daily supply zones are having daily EMA confluence? Let us filter. In the EMA confluence at daily, I am setting the filter daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. And the trend on the daily time frame should not be sideways. It can be up or down. So with these filters, now we got 28 stocks. So first 15 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 28 stocks are filtered. These 28 stocks are having daily supply zones, having daily EMA confluence, and also current price closed inside the daily supply zone. So this is about daily time frame. The next time frame is 125 minutes. Stocks near 125 minutes demand zone. We got 10 stocks. Next, 125 minutes time frame, stocks near 125 minutes supply zone. We got 18 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 18 stocks are filtered. Okay, next time frame is 75 minutes. Stocks near 75 minutes demand zone. We got 8 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity zones from this list. 75 minutes demand zones. Nika is PR zones, so it is not valid. Even Tech Mahindra is also pierced zone, but see 9 times it is pierced. Very interesting. Even its supply zone is also pierced 4 times. So look into those zones. So if anybody is interested to apply pierced zone strategy, you can focus on these 2 zones. But we don't have any valid high liquidity 75 minutes demand zones from this list. Okay, next, for 75 minutes time frame, stocks near 75 minutes supply zone, we got 11 stocks. Out of these 11 stocks, let us identify high liquidity supply zones. Bajaj Auto is having a high liquidity 75 minute supply zone. Cipla is having a high liquidity supply zone. Divi's Lab is having a high liquidity supply zone. HR Motors is having a high liquidity supply zone. That's it. We have identified 4 high liquidity 75 minute supply zones from this list. That is high priority supply zones, because they are only we use in the high liquidity zone strategy that you learned in lesson 21.3 video. Okay, this is about 75 minutes zones. With this we have completed identifying daily and 75 minutes high liquidity zones. Okay, next time frame is 25 minutes. Stocks near 25 minutes demand zone. We got 3 stocks. Next, 25 minutes time frame. Stocks near 25 minutes supply zone. We got 8 stocks. Next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near 15 minutes demand zone. We got 6 stocks. Let us identify how many of these demand zones are having ITF zone confluence. That is 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. We got only one stock. That means this 15 minutes demand zone is overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. Okay, next 15 minutes time frame. Stocks near 15 minutes supply zone. We got 5 stocks. Now let's verify out of these 5 how many supply zones are having ITF supply zone confluence. That is 15 minute supply zone with 75 minutes supply zone confluence. I enabled the filter. With this filter, we got all the 5 stocks. So that means all these 15 minute supply zones are overlapped with their 75 minutes supply zones. Okay, next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near 5 minutes demand zone. We got 8 stocks. Out of these 8 5 minutes demand zone, how many are having ITF demand zone confluence? Let us verify. That is 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone confluence. So I enable the filter. Now we got 2 stocks. So these 2 5 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 15 minutes demand zone. Okay. Next, for 5 minutes time frame, stocks near 5 minutes supply zone, we got 5 stocks. Out of these 5 supply zones, how many are having ITF supply zone confluence? Let us verify. That is 5 minute supply zone with 15 minute supply zone confluence. I enabled the filter. So with this filter, we did not get any stocks. That means none of the 5 minute supply zones are having ITF supplies, that is 15 minute supply zone confluence. So this is about stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. And next we will generate NIFTY and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. Let me start with NIFTY. Generating a monthly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. So this is a NIFTY monthly supply demand zone chain. Always look into the zone column to find the high liquidity zones. Look into the pierced column to find the pierced zones. And always look into the LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame you have selected. And one time frame higher is ITF, one more time frame higher is HTF. You are aware of these concepts. So apply these points to the remaining supply demand zone chain reports. Okay. Next, weekly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. This is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. Okay, next 75 minute supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. This is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. Next, 25 minute supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. This is the nearest demand zone to the closing price. Let me put it in the center. so that you get equal number of demand and supply zones. Okay. Next, 15-minute supply demand zone chain for Nifty. All are supply zones. I'm scrolling the list down. $36 is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. Let me put it in the center. Okay. Next, 5-minute supply demand zone chain for Nifty. All are supply zones. I'm scrolling the list down. And 59, serial number 59 is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. So let me put it in the center. Okay. So this is about Nifty supply demand zone chain. Next, let us look into Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. Let me change the name to Nifty Bank. That is nothing but Bank Nifty. So generating monthly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, weekly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 125-minute supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 75-minute supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 25-minute supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. So 22nd serial number, that is the nearest 15 minutes demand zone to the current closing price. Let me put it in the center. Okay. Next, 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Serial number 30 is the nearest demand zone. This is the Pierce demand zone. 5 minutes Pierce demand zone nearest to the current closing price. So I'm putting it in the center. Okay, this is about Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. So we have completed both Nifty and Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain reports. Next we will generate bullish and bearish trade setups for monthly, weekly, daily and hourly income trades. So I am starting with the bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. So entry time frame is daily. Entry zone, demand zone. Bullish or bearish trade setup at entry time frame daily, I am selecting bullish. And zone achievement, violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhanced score should be 12. And both the filters are applied to daily demand zone. So let's filter the stocks. We got 10 stocks. So these 10 stocks are currently supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Out of these 10, we can further filter the stocks based on the zone confluence to find a little more high probability supported stocks. So let's filter. First filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is daily and weekly demand zone confluence. So let's move on to the demand zone confluence parameter. Okay, here in the demand zone confluence parameter, I am setting the filter daily demand zone with weekly demand zone. Daily is LTF, weekly is ITF. So that means the daily demand zone should overlap with weekly demand zone. Out of the 10, how many stocks are available? Let us verify. Out of 10, 8 stocks. In these 8 stocks, these daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zone. Some of these daily demand zones are pierced zones. They will be useful for your pierced zone strategies. Okay. In all these stocks, the weekly trend is uptrend, that is ITF trend, and daily zone is part of the weekly zone. So that's why if weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence, then those daily demand zones are even more high probability to get the success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence, weekly time frame, because daily is overlapped with weekly. So we are checking weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence or not. Anyway, trend is uptrend for all the weekly zones. So we got 3 stocks. So these 3 are even more, they are having even more high probability. Because the daily zone overlapped with the weekly zone is having weekly EMA confluence. Okay. And the next filter is LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence. That is a daily, weekly and monthly demand zone confluence. Let us verify. Removing this ITF EMA confluence. Now we should focus on HTF. So in the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we should set. First filter is already enabled, daily with weekly. Second filter, daily demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence. Third filter, weekly demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters are enabled, we got 2 stocks. So in these 2 stocks, these daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zone. Again, both together overlapped with monthly demand zone. And monthly trend is up in both these stocks. So if any of these 2 stocks are having a monthly demand zone with monthly EMA confluence, then those stocks are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence monthly time frame, I am setting the filter monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence or not. So both the stocks are filtered. That means both these stocks are supporting even more high probability trade setup to get the success. See, they may success, they may fail. There could be other factors will be there. But as per these filters, they are having high probability to get the success. That is how you should understand. Sometimes zones might be violated. There could be other reasons for that. Okay, this is about bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame is daily. Entry zone is a supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at entry time frame daily, I am selecting bearish. And zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum order enhancer score should be 12. Both filters are applied to daily supply zone. Let's filter. We got 4 stocks. These 4 stocks are currently supporting bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. And all these entry time frame zones are daily supply zones. For daily supply zones we have in these 4 stocks. Out of these 4 daily supply zones, how many are having even more high probability to get the success? Let us verify based on the supply zone confluence. So first filter is ITF and LTF supply zone confluence. LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is a daily and weekly supply zone confluence. I enable the filter. And with this filter, we got all the 4 stocks. That means in all these 4 stocks, these daily supply zones are overlapped with the weekly supply zone. And the weekly trend is down in all the 4 stocks. That is ITF trend. Okay. Because the daily supply zone overlapped with weekly and weekly trend also a downtrend, let us verify how many of these weekly supply zones are having weekly EMA confluence. If that is the case, they have even more high probability to get success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence weekly time frame, I am setting the filter weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence or not. So with this filter, we got 3 stocks out of 4. That means these 3 stocks are having even more high probability to get the success. Okay, this is about the LTF and ITF supply zone and ITF EMA confluence. Now we need to look for LTF, ITF, HTF zone confluence and HTF EMA confluence. So for that, first I am removing EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, I should set 3 filters. Out of 3, first one is already enabled. That is a daily with weekly supply zone confluence. Second filter, daily supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. Third filter, weekly supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters enabled, LTF, ITF, HTF, supply zone confluence, we got 2 stocks. In these 2 stocks, these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zone. Both together again overlapped with monthly supply zone. But monthly trend is sideways in both the stocks. So no need to check for EMA confluence because it won't give any advantage in the sideways trend. Okay, this is bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next, we will look into weekly income trade. Weekly income trade bullish trade setup, entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone, demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes time frame, I am selecting bullish. We should set 3 filters on 75 minutes demand zone. We should apply 3 filters. First filter, zone achievement should be VOZ. Second filter, minimum order enhancer score should be 12. And third filter, 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So that's why in the pierced count at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means pierced count should be 0 on the 75 minutes demand zone. If pierced count is 0, that means zone is not pierced. Let's filter. We got 6 stocks. Currently, these 6 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. And all these entry time frame zones are 75 minutes demand zones. So we have 6 75 minutes demand zones. Out of these 6, how many of these demand zones are having ITF confluence? Let us filter based on that. LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. LTF is 75 minutes, ITF is daily. So let's set the filter 75 minutes demand zone having daily demand zone confluence. 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. So this filter is enabled. We got 5 stocks. So in these 5 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with daily demand zone, and daily trend is up in all these stocks, ITF trend. If any of these daily demand zones are having daily EMA confluence, then those 75 minutes demand zones are having even more high probability to get the success. Let's verify. Why 75? Because 75 is overlapped with daily and 75 minutes is our entry zone. When it is overlapped with the daily, if the daily is having daily EMA confluence, it's a high probability scenario to get the success. So in the EMA confluence at daily time frame, I am checking if the daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence or not. With this filter, we got 2 stocks. So these 2 are even more high probability to get the success. These 2 75 minutes demand zone supporting bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Okay, next filter is LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence. That is 75 minutes daily and weekly demand zone confluence. Let us verify how many stocks we will get. First, I am removing this EMA confluence filter because that is ITF specific. Now we should also focus on HTF specific. So in the demand zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, 75 with daily demand zone confluence. Next, 75 minutes demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. Next, daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters are enabled, LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence, we got 3 stocks. In these 3 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with daily demand zone. Both together again overlapped with weekly demand zone. And weekly trend is up in only 1 stock. And in this Bharti Airtel, if weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence, then this stock is having even more high probability trade setup to get success for this 75 minutes demand zone. Let's verify. The EMA confluence weekly time frame, I am setting the filter weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence or not. But trend should not be sideways. It should be only uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. So the weekly trend I am setting uptrend. With these filters, we got that 1 stock we got. So that means Bharti Airtel is even more high probability trade setup supported zone. Maybe that is the reason why Bharti Airtel is already tested 3 times. Maybe it is tested today. Because yesterday, remember, only 2 times it tested. Now it is showing 3 times. Maybe it might have been tested and given a trade. Now it is moving towards the supply zone. Okay. So this is about bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, we should look into bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. So entry time frame is 75 minutes. Entry zone is supply zone. And in bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes time frame, we have to select bearish. And we should set 3 filters on this 75 minutes supply zone. The first filter is zone achievement should be violated opposing zone. Second filter, minimum odd enhancer score 12. Third filter, the 75 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means 75 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So with these 3 filters, we got 16 stocks. So first 15 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So we got all the 16 stocks. Out of the 16 stocks, some zones could be even having more high probability to get the success. We need to find them. So first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That means the 75-minute supply zone should be overlapped with, it's not demand zone confluence, supply zone confluence. LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That means 75-minute supply zone should overlap with daily supply zone. So let's set that filter. So in the supply zone confluence, I'm enabling the filter that 75-minute supply zone having daily supply zone confluence or not. So with this filter, out of 16 stocks, we got 14 stocks are filtered. That means in all these 14 stocks, these 75-minute supply zones are overlapped with daily supply zone. That means they are part of daily supply zone. And daily trend is down in all these stocks. That is ITF trend. So that's why if daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence, then these 75-minute supply zones are even more high probability trade setup supported zones. Let's verify. Out of these 14, how many of these daily supply zones having daily EMA confluence? But 75-minute supply zone is part of the daily supply zone. So in the daily time frame, I am setting the filter daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence or not. Because 75-minute supply zone is overlapped with daily supply zone and also daily trend is downtrend. It is bearish trade setup. Now let's filter the stocks. Now the list is come down to 10 stocks. So these 10 stocks are having even more high probability to get the success. Okay, next we will filter based on LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence with all the three zones. So I am removing EMA filter because it is ITF specific. Now we should also focus on HTF. So in the supply zone confluence, we should set three filters. First filter is already enabled, 75 with daily supply zone confluence. So second filter, 75-minute supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. Third filter, daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. With all the three filters are enabled, LTF, ITF, HTF, supply zone confluence, we got 6 stocks. That means in these 6 stocks, these 75-minute supply zones are overlapped with daily supply zone. And both together again overlapped with weekly supply zone. And the weekly trend is down in 4 stocks. Second, third, fourth and sixth. Out of these 4 stocks, if weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence, then these 75-minute supply zones are having even more high probability to get the success. Let's verify. So in the EMA confluence at weekly time frame, I am setting the filter weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence or not. Apart from that, the trend on the weekly should not be sideways. So it should be downtrend only because it is bearish trade setup. So with this filter, we got 2 stocks. So these 2 are even more having even more high probability to get the success. So this is about bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next we will generate daily income trade reports. Daily income trade entry time frame 15 minutes, entry zone, demand zone in bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes time frame. I am selecting bullish. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum order enhancer score 12. And 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With all the 3 filters applied on 15 minutes demand zone, we got 7 stocks. So these 7 stocks are having bullish trade setup for daily income trade. And entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zones. Out of these 7 15 minutes demand zones, some might be having even more high probability to get the success. Let us identify them. So the first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. So I enabled the filter. By applying this filter on 7 stocks, we got 6 stocks. In these 6 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. And the 75 minutes trend, that is ITF trend, is uptrend in all these stocks. So if 75 minutes demand zones are having daily EMA confluence, then these 15 minutes demand zones are having even more high probability to get the success, because these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. So let's verify. In the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame, I'm setting the filter 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence or not. So with this filter, we got 3 stocks. So these 3 are having even more high probability to get the success. Okay, next we will identify the stocks that are supporting LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence. That is 15 minutes, 75 minutes and the daily demand zone confluence. I removed EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, I have to set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled. Second filter, 15 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence, and also 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters enabled, we got 6 stocks. That means in all these 6 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone, both together again overlapped with daily demand zone. And the daily trend, that is HTF time frame, is up in 2 stocks. If in those 2 stocks, if any of those daily demand zones are having daily EMA confluence, then they are having even more priority to get the success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at a daily time frame, I am setting the filter daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence or not. At the same time, the trend on the daily, it should not be sideways. It can be uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. So with these filters, we got only 1 stock. So this is having even more high probability to get the success. So this is bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame is 15 minutes. Entry zone is supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes, I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum odd enhancer score 12. And a 15 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 15 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. So all the 3 filters are applied to 15 minutes supply zone. Let's filter. We got 12 stocks. And these 12 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade, and entry time frame zones are 15 minute supply zones. Out of these 12 15 minute supply zones, there could be some stocks might be having high probability to get the success. Let us filter the stocks. First filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 15 minute supply zone with 75 minute supply zone confluence. So I am enabling the filter 15 minute supply zone with 75 minute supply zone confluence. With this filter, we got all the 12 stocks. That means in all these 12 stocks, these 15 minute supply zones are overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. And the 75 minutes trend is down in all these stocks, ITF trend. If any of these stocks 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence, then those stocks might be having even more high probability to get the success. Let us verify. in the EMA Confluence at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting the filter 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA Confluence or not. We want to check. So let's filter. Now we got only two stocks. So these two 75 minute supply zones are having even more high probability to get the success compared to the other stocks. It is only probability game. That is what you have to understand. Okay, this is LTF, ITF specific. Next we will look into LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence and later HTF EMA confluence. I am removing this ITF EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, we should set three filters. First filter is already enabled. Second filter, 15 minute supply zone having daily supply zone confluence or not. Third filter, 75 minute supply zone having daily supply zone confluence or not. By setting all the three filters, we got 5 stocks. That means in all these 5 stocks, these 15 minute supply zones are overlapped with 75 minute supply zone, both together again overlapped with daily supply zone. That way we got these 5 stocks. Out of these 5, first 4 stocks are having downtrend. So that's why if the daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence, then there could be even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Because 15 minutes supply zone overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. Both together overlapped with daily supply zone. And the daily trend is down in the first 4 stocks. If the daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence, then these 15 minute supply zones are having a more, having more probability to get success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at a daily time frame, I am setting the filter daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence or not. By setting this filter, we got 2 stocks. So these two are having even more high probability to get the success. Maybe that is the reason why you see OL is already tested 6 times. Okay, this is a bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Next, we will look into hourly income trade reports. First, bullish trade setup for hourly income trade, entry time frame 5 minutes, entry zone, demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup, at 5 minutes time frame, I am selecting bullish. And zone achievement, violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score should be 12. And in the pierced count, at 5 minutes time frame, the minimum value 0, maximum value 0. And all the 3 filters are applied to 5 minutes demand zone. And we got 12 stocks. All these 12 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for hourly income trade, and entry time frame zones are 5 minutes demand zones. Out of these 12 5 minutes demand zones, let us further filter based on the zone confluence. First filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 5 minutes and 15 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling that filter. Okay, by setting this filter, we got 6 stocks. In all these 6 stocks, these 5 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 15 minutes demand zone. And 15 minutes trend is up in all these stocks. If any of the 15 minutes demand zone having daily EMA, then that stock could be even more high probability to get success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence 15 minutes time frame, I am setting the filter 15 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence or not. We did not get any stocks. Fine. Next, we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence. I removed EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, already we set first filter. Next, 5 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. And third filter, 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. With all the three filters enabled, LTF, ITF, HTF, demand zone confluence, we got 3 stocks. That means in these 3 stocks, these daily demand zones are overlapped with, not daily, these 5 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 15 minutes demand zone. Both together again overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. And 75 minutes trend is up in only one stock. If this stock is having a daily EMA confluence, the 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA, then it could be having more success rate to get the success. It is having high probability to get success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame, I am checking 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence or not. And trend on the 75 minutes should not be sideways. It should be downtrend. So with these filters, we did not get any stocks. Okay, this is bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame 5 minutes. Entry zone, supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 5 minutes, I am selecting bearish. And this 5 minute supply zone, we should set 3 filters. First one, the 5 minute supply zone should have zone achievement violated opposing zone. And 5 minute supply zone should have a minimum odd enhancer score 12. And third filter, 5 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count, 5 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. So this is the way all the 3 filters are applied to 5 minute supply zone. Now let's filter. We got 5 stocks. Currently these 5 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. And out of these 5, we can further filter by checking based on high probability to get success. Let's verify. First, LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 5 minutes and 15 minutes supply zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, out of 5 stocks, we got all the 5 stocks. That means in all these 5 stocks, these 5 minute supply zones are overlapped with 15 minute supply zone. And all these are all 5 minute supply zones. But they are overlapped with 15 minute supply zone. And 15 minutes trend is down in all these stocks. If any of these 15 minute supply zones are having daily EMA, probably those zones might be getting more success rate. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting the filter 15 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence or not. With this filter, we don't have any stocks. Okay, next let us look into LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. Removing EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, that is 5 minutes with 15 minutes supply zone confluence. Second filter, 5 minutes supply zone with 75 minutes supply zone confluence. Third filter, 15 minutes supply zone with 75 minutes supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 3 stocks. That means in these 3 stocks, these 5 minute supply zones are overlapped with 15 minute supply zone. Both together again overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. And 75 minutes time frame, only first stock is a downtrend. If that first stock is having daily supply zone, 75 minute supply zone with daily EMA confluence, probably it might be having even more higher probability rate to get success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame, I'm setting the filter 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence or not. At the same time, trend on the 75 minutes time frame should not be sideways. It can be downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. So with these filters, we don't have any zone confluence, we don't have any EMA confluence support. So this is about bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. And in the final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. So first 17 in this list are indices, remaining all are equity stocks. So I'll be scrolling the list down. Any of the stock you want to refer, there you pause the video. After that, you can proceed further. Okay, I'm scrolling this list down. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let us all meet again in our next video. Thank you.